each patient will have a different level of experience. So let us understand what are the levels of experience. The first one is the name and diagnosis level, where the patient just comes in and gives you the diagnosis, whether it is hair fall, it can be IBS, it can be a psychiatric disease like bipolar disorder, or it can be schizophrenia. Anything, only the diagnosis. For example, let us take an example of migraine. The patient comes in and says, I have migraine. Second level is the fact level, where along with the diagnosis, the patient goes one step further and says common signs and symptoms about the disease, whether physical or mental. Or it could be general facts of their life situation. So it can be the onset, duration, progress of a particular complaint, or a frequency of a particular complaint, or if they are narrating a situation, it can be the what, where, how of an incident. So this happened, then that happened, then this happened, and these people were involved. So all this is a fact level, common symptoms, general facts. So continuing the example of migraine, the patient will say, Doctor, I get headache. It is maybe left-sided and the frequency is say once in 15 days or once in a month. So here the patient is telling us just common symptoms of the migraine. Nothing particular, nothing characteristic. There is a wrong notion that fact level means the physical level. But patient can also talk about facts related to psychiatric disorders or their general life situations. That is also fact level. Just because a patient is telling you a situation doesn't mean that it is a high level of experience. Those are purely facts of the situation. For example, many times, what happens in psychiatric diseases, the patient is talking about emotional turmoil and mood swings. But that is not necessarily a higher level of experience. Those are facts of the disease. Bipolar disorder has mood swings as common symptoms and signs of the disease. Yes, or in a situation, the patient may say, I am a divorcee, I stay here, I stay. That is not high level of experience. It is just facts. So patient generally starts with the diagnosis or facts, but the question is, are they remaining there? Because it is very common for the patient to come in, talk about the diagnosis, talk about the facts of the disease initially. But are they remaining there? That is the question. Yes? Now, the third level is the feeling level, where the patient starts talking about their emotions. So whether it is anger, whether it is frustration, sadness, but still those are common symptoms, If it is a situation, common symptoms, common emotions of the situation. Still it is little more than the fact level, but still not holistic, not PQRS. So with the headache example, we can say the patient might say, I feel frustrated because of my headache. So initially the patient spoke about migraine, then headache, the side and the frequency, facts of the situation, facts of the chief complaint. And now a little bit further, I feel frustrated because of my headache. So joining an emotion to it. Or the patient may also say headache which is ameliorated by walking. So what do you think? This is still a fact or it is a little bit more? Because it is a modality, it is important, but it is not a fact. It is little more, but still it is not the higher PQRS. Because if you see Kent's repertory, FOS, rhododendron and rustox are 3 marks, but there are many other remedies for headache ameliorated walking. So, it is not a very characteristic symptom. Yes, so the diagnosis level, the fact level and the emotion level are clear. Now let us go to the next level, which is the delusion level, higher than the emotion level. Here, qualified characteristic symptoms come up. Yes, so generally described with as if, the patient generally uses these words that it is like, it is as if. So that there we understand the patient is moving from the emotional level to the delusion level. Now the patient might say something like, severe headache, as if 1,000 hammers are beating into my head, hammering my head, maybe with a hand gesture. I feel angry and I feel so angry as if I want to go and kill somebody. So that is a very characteristic qualified symptom. Yes, again, there is a wrong notion that delusion is at the level of mind. No, anything characteristic, whether physical level, emotional level or the mental level, is a delusion. For example, characteristic cravings and aversions. Intense craving for cinnamon, very PQRS, not common. Now, continuing with the headache example, if the patient says, headache so much so that I am compelled to stand or walk, that becomes a characteristic symptom. Single remedy, China. Yes, so now you understand the difference, the subtle difference between the emotional level and the delusion level. Emotional level, common symptoms. Delusion level, characteristic PQRS symptoms. So going further, the sensation level, where it is a holistic level where the mind and the body are spontaneously connected by the patient. Non-human specific language starts coming up. Now what is this? What is the meaning of this? Let me give you an example. So suppose the same patient with headache, he says, I feel stuck because of my headache. My headache is better by movement or walking. Then he goes to a relationship area and there also he says, I'm stuck in this relationship. And then he goes to his dreams and there also he says of being stuck. I see dreams of being stuck in a narrow place. The patient loves trekking, traveling, dancing, and generally also he says, I like to be on the move. Yes, so what is happening in this patient? This stuck and the opposite polarity of being on the move is coming up in all areas. That is the holistic level, where the same thing comes up in the physical level, the emotional level, through the subconscious areas. Everywhere it is the same pattern which you can see. That is the holistic level, where the mind and the body have the same pattern. Now, what is this non-human specific language? The human specific language are the common emotions which all human beings experience. The non-human specific language is something which corresponds to a pattern from the universe. Here, the language is something which is not experienced by all humans. It is something which corresponds to only a similar pattern from the universe. Yes? So here at the sensation level, this language comes up. Being stuck or a lack. Now recently we saw a case where the patient had calcium deficiency. That was the chief complaint. And when we became active, he had a very sensitive nature. He said that sensitive was coming up in many areas. So we became active there, and through the sensitive also, he went to this whole feeling of there is a lack in me. There is something lacking in me. Yes. So we knew this lack is the holistic pattern. Now, still further from the sensation level, we go to the source level, where the source language comes up directly source language. We saw a case of a girl. She must have been some 6 to 7 years old, and she was just talking about a dog-faced water snake. Wow, what is this? Whenever we used to ask her dreams, dog-faced water snake. Fears, dog-faced water snake. The whole history, when we spoke with her, was indicative of the Ophidia group. So we were very sure that the remedy she needs is somewhere here. Also, the mother said, very characteristic, that she loves watching Nat Geo. And whenever she sees snakes coming on television, she actually goes and kisses the television screen. That much is her sensitivity, and that much is how much she's in touch with that source. Directly source level language. And we searched for it, and there is actually a snake which is dog-faced, which is known as dog-faced water snake. But it is so rare that even a remedy is yet not prepared from it. But she is in touch with that. So that much, that much is the source level experience. Directly talking about the source. Mostly children are at this level. Energy level. Now this is even beyond the source level. At the source level, the patient talks about it. But at the energy level, it is only through gestures and body language that the patient is expressing. So not even verbal, beyond words. It is non-verbal source language. It is the energy pattern. Pure energy expressed through body language or sounds. Very rare, extremely rare. Only children will express this way. We had seen, fortunately I have seen one case where the child was a non-verbal autistic child. He had yet not developed speech. And throughout the case, he was very restless, jumping all over the room. Even when the mother was giving history, he was just not bothered. He was just jumping all over the room, climbing up the chair, jumping from there. Very, very restless. The mother's history also corresponded with that, because she was saying at home, he is the same level of restlessness, the same level of, hyperactivity. And second, what we observed was that he used to come, make eye contact for a second, and for that second, he used to imitate what I was doing. So if I was just holding my pen, he used to just look at me, just see, okay, I'm holding a pen, imitate me, go again, and always be on the move. Again, he used to come, imitate, go. Doing the same thing with the mother. That was just energy level case. No speech from the patient, and from this pattern, the restlessness, the mimicking, we gave him lac rhesus. He had come for eczema and autism, and he is much better now. So just energy, pure energy. So these levels are clear. Now, if we connect this understanding with the classical understanding, which we have been studying all through all these years at college. So the name, facts and emotion level is the common language. The common symptoms or signs related to the diagnosis or any situation. The delusion level is the characteristic language, which we have been calling PQRS, uncommon symptoms of the disease. So we have been calling them that. So that is the delusion level, the characteristic language. Then comes the sensation level, which is the holistic language, connecting the mind and the body. And still further is the source and the energy level, which is purely the universal language.